Lesson 7. Types of solutions to a system of equations. There are 3 different resolutions that you can reach when you're trying to find a solution to a system of linear equations in 2 variables. The most common resolution is that you will find one solution, one unique solution, that is. A system of linear equations that represents intersecting lines has exactly one solution. In such a case, we say that the system is consistent and independent. Sometimes, though, if a system of linear equations represents parallel lines, then the lines do not intersect, and the system has no solution. In such a case, we say that the system is inconsistent. And finally, the third thing that can happen is that a system can have infinitely many solutions. If a system of linear equations represents the same line, or some like to think of it as overlapping lines, then all points on the common line satisfy each equation. Therefore, the system has infinitely many solutions. In such a case, we say that the equations are consistent but dependent. As opposed to one solution where the system is consistent and independent. So, one unique solution, the system of linear equations intersects or have intersecting lines, and it is consistent and independent. No solution, that is, the system has parallel lines, they do not intersect, and so they have no solution. That one is inconsistent. And then finally, infinitely many solutions, which means it is the same line, or another way to think of it is overlapping lines. In this case, the system has infinitely many solutions, and we say it is consistent and dependent. Now, one thing to note is that it doesn't mean in case 3, where you have infinitely many solutions, it doesn't mean that every single ordered pair in a coordinate plane is a solution. It's just the ordered pairs that lie on that line. Now, if we draw pictures for this, it might help it make a little more sense. So, usually what happens is you have a system of equations, and let's just stick with 2 now to be, just to simplify things. And so let's say we have this line here, and we have this line here. And the solution to this system is where these lines intersect, because the point on the line here is going to satisfy that line. It's also going to satisfy that line, and so that is the point they have in common. Now think about parallel lines. So if the solution to a system is where the lines intersect, if you have parallel lines, they are never going to intersect. And so they have no points in common, so there is no solution. So this is one solution. This is no solution. And then finally, in the third case, if you have a line here, but then you have another equation that represents the same line or overlapping lines, then every single ordered pair on these overlapping lines is going to be a solution. And because this line goes on forever in both directions, we have infinitely many solutions. However, it doesn't mean that every ordered pair on the coordinate plane is a solution. It's just those points that lie on that line. So hopefully that helps you kind of make sense out of what we're about to do. So in the next video, we'll talk about the different methods for solving systems of linear equations in two variables.